David Knox began selling real estate in 1972, then became a branch office manager and training director for a 27-office company in Minneapolis. In 1978, he joined the CRS cadre of the National Association of Realtors, where he became a senior instructor and rewrote 2 of the CRS courses. In 1983, he was named the National Training Director of Merrill Lynch Realty, where he designed their entire training program used by more than 15,000 salespeople. In 1987, he returned to Minneapolis to form David Knox Productions and has built an international reputation as a top sales trainer, presenting more than 100 seminars a year to over 20,000 people. He has also produced 7 consumer videos, including the top-selling title, Pricing Your Home to Sell. He's a member of the National Speakers Association and has earned the Certified Speaking Professional designation. In the Mentor Series 2, David combines his 26 years of selling and teaching experience to make this the most comprehensive training in the real estate industry.
Good morning. Good morning. I am David Knox, and welcome to the Mentor Series. This is a project that I appreciate you all joining me for, and for those of you tuning in, I think you'll find the next 12 videos to be a very, very exciting journey through the world of real estate. And my goal is to see to it that at the end of this series, you will be able to achieve every goal you want in real estate. And I'd like to, first of all, compliment your company trainers and managers for being involved in this program, because those are the people who play the major role in your success, far more than I can. Your managers and trainers know your local conditions, market, customs, and things like that. So anything that I present to you, please be sure that your trainers and managers relate it to your local market. Another thing to keep in mind is that the video role plays that we're doing here are role plays that would be very difficult for a company to do live. And that's one of the reasons for these videos, is to help your trainers and managers demonstrate the skills they teach through some of the role plays that I do. It's been said that 5 minutes of show me is worth 5 hours of tell me. So the goal of this session today is to actually demonstrate real situations, as close to real as we can get, as a way of demonstrating the skills. The techniques that we'll cover today, first of all, will be the most important basic techniques. So many salespeople come to me, do you have any advanced techniques? I've got a lot of advanced techniques. They don't work, but they're advanced. And my definition of an advanced real estate agent is somebody who's mastered the basics. I don't care whether you take a look at football or tennis or horseback riding or whatever it is. You watch a football game that somebody loses, what skill did they violate in most cases? Some fundamental basic, like you're supposed to catch the ball. Oh yeah, I forgot about that. So my definition of advanced is somebody who's mastered the basics. I really believe this program will be the most complete training existing in real estate. So the first tape is going to be our tape on questioning and probing for motivation. The topics will be today the keys to prospecting. We'll talk about the importance of questioning as it relates to selling. I'll show you or help you become a professional interviewer in the real estate business. And we'll help you determine who's going to be ready, willing, and able to buy now. Greatest fear in the real estate business is spending weeks with these people and finally they go, well, you know, we really don't need to move, but thanks for showing us around. And when you're new to the business, if somebody says, yeah, we're thinking about buying a house, you go, really? Okay. And there's this tendency to just take these people out. And 2 or 3 weeks in, I'll never forget, this must have been my first year in the real estate business, working with a buyer, single buyer, half of a couple. And I was at a showing and this person's spouse showed up and said, honey, are you still out looking at houses? And I turned to the other person, you mean you're not? Oh, no. So then why am I here? So a few experiences like that remind you the importance of determining who are the motivated prospects right away. And I really believe your success rests solely upon your business to prospect and create business. And I don't care if you've been in the business 20 years. If any people in a slump in their 20th year, you say, well, tell me about what you've done in the last few months. Clearly what was missing was prospecting. It's unlikely that you could be in front of enough prospects and not have them buy or sell. That typically doesn't happen. So we'll talk today about how to find prospects, how to figure out if they're motivated. And key to the whole business is if you want the right answers, you'll need to ask the right questions. So those are the skills we'll cover today. In the area of prospecting, the reason people become your prospects is because somewhere along the way, their lives have changed. And throughout this series, we're going to meet various different single people and couples, people who are in various real estate situations. And to begin, let's just meet the different people that you'll be seeing throughout the rest of the Mentor series.
We're just glad that we're finally getting an offer here after sitting around for 45 days waiting for one. You know,
I know,
well,
it's pretty
especially.
It's been kind of scary. Well, and now we saw that house.
Yeah.
The one that you showed us last
Yeah.
week. Bye.
Another realtor.
Yes, another realtor.
Yeah.
With this for sale by owner,
Yeah.
we're getting more realtors than we're getting
Well,
buyers.
Yeah, I know, but I mean, you know, we have to try and get this thing sold ourselves. We need all the equity we can get out of our home.
Well, tell me a little bit more about this man that's coming over tonight.
Bill Cooper said he did a great job for them. You know, his materials look pretty good.
Well, now we're not. Are we listing with him tonight, or I thought we were going to sell it by ourselves?
I don't know. What do you think? At least we could hear what he has to say. Okay.
How long have you been looking?
Oh, for about 2.5 months now.
Have you
It's
really?
been a while.
Have you seen anything at all that you liked?
No, not really.
Not really.
That's got to be frustrating.
Oh yeah, well
It
there's
is.
always something missing. I mean, it's like you like this,
You know,
but
you
like
gotta
that.
go every weekend and then kind of look around for a house, and it's you like a few and some you don't.
Sure.
You know, our listing has expired and we still haven't sold our house. What are we gonna do?
Well, maybe I should call John again and we'll get it back on the market.
Oh, I don't know about that. I don't know if John was doing his job. It's been 6 months.
Well, do you want to try somebody new? There's a lot of different realtors out there.
No, I don't mind. Hey. You never guess what I'm doing? Yeah, I'm cleaning the garage. Yes, my ex told me that I'd never clean this place until I sold the house, and guess what? Yeah, I'm selling the house by myself. I'm cleaning it by myself. Yeah, she got me.
Oh, she did. And now, as real estate agents, it's our turn to get you listed. So those are the people we're going to meet throughout the next 12 videos. And these are the people we're going to try to get signed up. Some we do, some we don't, and the drama remains to be seen. But clearly, if you want these people to do business with you, the most important thing you have to be is good at this business. You agree with that? You have to be good at uncovering the diamond of motivation in order to get into their emotional state, in order that you can present the features, benefits of your product that relate to the diamond of motivation, in order to get them into the attitude of acceptance. You have to be good at that. Okay, just checking. Okay. Let me ask you this question. How many of you have ever bought a product or service that you wanted from a salesperson who's bad? Let's see, raise your hand. That's a lot of you.
Sure.
Well, that kind of blows my whole point. Nothing major? We'll see. Has anybody bought anything major from a bad salesperson?
No.
Okay. Why did you buy at all from a bad salesperson?
The one with the hot dog.
They were there.
Because they were what?
They were there.
Here's a major point. If you can't be good, you have to be there. And that is so important in the real estate business because you do not necessarily get paid for being good. You get paid for showing up. And I've talked to more real estate agents and they say, well, I know they're not very good, but they're there. You take a look at acting, do you find that the best actor and actress always gets the part? No. So why do the people get the part? Because they're there. Is this country run by politicians who are good, or... Pretty much rest my case on that, right? Now, this is not a seminar on how to succeed through incompetence. And clearly you have to possess the competence to sell, but this is what gives you the right to be in the business, the competence, the integrity to be able to deliver the product. But if you want to earn a living in the real estate business, you have got to show up. So that's going to be what we talk about next. How do you show up? And the next few topics will address that. Prospecting, showing up, is about 60 to 90% of the real estate business. There are businesses where, like retail, only about 2% of it is prospecting. The other 98% is presenting and closing. Real estate, 60 to 90% is just meeting the people. Because in this business, the product sells itself anyway, so if you have the right buyer and the right seller, all you have to do is get out of the way and they conduct business. You go, wow, I guess I didn't really need to sell. Not if you're there. So show up a lot. Prospecting falls into what I call active, passive. Active sources are the kinds that you have control over, things like referrals, for sale by owner, expireds, canvassing an area. Those you have total control about whether or not you go to the prospect. Passive sources such as floor time, ads, signs, and open houses, don't rely on those too much. You have to do them, clearly, but do not rest your business on the passive sources. The biggest mistake people make is just hope something will come to them. Be there for the passive, but it's the active sources we're going to talk about today. Another key to being good at prospecting is to be systematic. If a salesperson is asked by a prospect, say, yeah, we'd like to get together with you. When are you available? Well, I'm available from now on. I could see you next year. I'm available forever. That's not real impressive to a customer. You've got to be busy. So I can tell when a salesperson is doing well when I ask them a question, what are you doing next Wednesday? And they say, Wednesday I'm booked out for prospecting. Tuesday's sales meeting, Sunday's open house for sale by owner calls, Thursday I do my expired listings, and block your week out and just say, this is what I do, rather than saying, well, I wonder what's going to go on Wednesday. You just decide Wednesday's expired listing day and book it. And then pick a day to take off, which I might just make that point. The real estate business ought to be fun, it ought to be enjoyable, and the first thing that should go in your calendar are some days off. Vacation, relax. Pick a day to play golf and clear your brain so you can come back and prospect. So, next topic is questioning skills. Have you ever been in a prospecting situation where you didn't know what to say? How'd that feel? It feels very scary, it feels very uncomfortable. And salespeople, especially new ones to this business, get themselves in a situation where, oh, I didn't know what to say. In fact, your fear of prospecting is based in the not knowing what to say. Here's the good news. You don't have to know what to say. You have to know what to ask. And in your student materials, you will find lists of specifically written questions. In every one of these modules that we go through, you're going to see in your student materials lists of questions you can use with for sale by owners and expireds and open houses. And we'll demonstrate some of these on the videos. We can't demonstrate them all, but we'll demonstrate some of the critical skills. So you don't have to know what to say in this business. You need to know what to ask, because then they will do all the talking. It's kind of like give a man a fish, you feed him today, teach a man to fish, you feed them for life. Well, questioning is the act of fishing. So selling isn't telling, selling is asking. Have you ever heard that before? Real good salespeople know how to just ask and sit back, tell me more, tell me more. Years ago, I went to buy a wide-angle lens for my camera. And I walked into a store, and the first thing salesperson said was, oh, let me tell you about some of the wide-angle lenses. We have a Nikon, we have a Soligar, we have an Oakley f1.4 aperture, one of the finest lenses with high-grain crystal quality. And he went through all the features of the lens. And I'm just, yeah. Yeah. And I was confused by the end of it. So I went to a discount store thinking if I'm going to get bad service, I want to at least not pay for it. And I went up to another gentleman behind the counter and said, how can I help you? And I said, I'm looking for a wide-angle lens. And the guy said, what kind of camera do you have? I thought that was a pretty good start. I said, I've got a Minolta SRT 201. He says, what lenses do you own now? And I said, I've got a 50 and a 135. Oh, you're looking for something under 50? Yes. How far under? I don't know. And he says, well, what do you take pictures of? What, do you use ambient light or flash? Are you using color or black and white? What's the size of your largest enlargement? What film speed do you shoot? And I'm impressed by all these good questions. And those of you into photography know that that determines a lens. And when I'm all done, he said, I've got 3 lenses, a Minolta, Soligar, and a Nikon. Same 3 as the other guy. But what was the difference?
You found out what you needed.
See, we've all got the same product. We've all got the same it's the diagnosis that differs. So when he was done, I said, you know, those are the same 3 the other guy had. Which one do you think is better? And he said, well, based on what you've told me, the 28 millimeter Soligar is the lens to get for the following reasons, which related to my needs. And that's what I want all say. I want all salespeople to be as good as that. Just relax. Listen to these people. Ask them questions. How many of you are serious about getting more buyers and sellers? How many are really serious about making this business work? Most of you are. So when I ask the question, how serious are you? Sounds like most of you are pretty serious about it. Is that right? Well, I would suggest to you that if you want to really do well in the real estate business, that you need to realize that that's your first mistake. Have you ever been in a situation where you didn't need the sale or the listing? It might be, have you ever gone up to a property where as soon as you take a look at the house, you know you don't want the listing? You're driving down the street, look at the address, you go, oh, that is beautiful. That's not it. Oh, look at that. No, that's not it. Oh, look at that dog. Oh, no, that's it. right? You're into that attitude of, I don't really care if I get that listing. Another classic example is when you are trying to leave town and go on vacation. Perhaps even before coming to this, right? Before even coming to this training session. Right before you take a vacation, people call you up and say, wait, we was wondering, we'd love to buy that house. Could you sell it to us? I'm sorry, I'm leaving town. Really can't help you till Monday, but we want to see it right now. You know what I could do is I could refer it to somebody else and I could have them show it. No, we want to see it with you. You can't get out of it. Will you get out of there without the sale? They'll close on you 3 or 4 times. Let's talk about the 2 types of questions that you can ask people. Open questions and closed questions. David Letterman tends to ask more closed questions, and Larry King tends to ask more open questions. Closed questions get you in trouble, like do, are, is, should, could, would. You turn to a buyer and say, are you thinking of buying a home? No. Are you thinking of renting a home? No. Is this the price range you had in mind? No. What we do is we go to price ranges we don't have in mind and we look there first. What do you think? So is this the area you're looking in? Do I look like I'm in this area? Have you ever been caught doing a closed question? Yeah, and I just asked you a closed question. So the key is to take them to open questions. And the open questions start with who, what, when, where, why, how. Tell me more about that. Please expand on that. And it draws people out. I mean, just starting a question with a buyer or seller and say, well, tell me about yourselves. You might turn to a buyer and say, so when do you need to move? And they say, well, we need to be settled in about the next 3 or 4 weeks because we just sold our home in Chicago. I see. Where are you folks from? Chicago, perhaps you could. So pay attention. Open questions versus closed. Listen to their answers. So we've talked about the difference between open and closed questions, and what I'd like to do now is go to the videotape and we'll demonstrate and watch carefully the difference in answers you get between those 2 types of questions. So do you folks need to move soon then?
Oh, yeah.
Yes. Now, are you considering other areas?
Definitely.
Definitely other areas. Is this an area you had in mind?
No.
So have you lived here very long?
Yeah.
What's the situation on your present home?
It would sell to the first person that looked at it.
That's it, good. How soon would you like to be settled?
Tomorrow.
Is that right?
Soon, yeah, we would really like to.
I just didn't think it was going to take 6 months.
Yeah. How has that affected your moving plans?
Well,
we'd like to get out away from it.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I thought that I'll be okay with the noise, and it has gotten worse over the years. And we've been thinking about starting a family.
Okay, so by this time you ought to be comfortable with the difference between open versus closed questions, and throughout the rest of the videos we'll do our best to use open questions at the appropriate times. But I should say this, is there a time when it is appropriate to use a closed question? Yes. Yes, that was a closed question. See, that was the wrong way to do it. Now let me ask it the right way and watch the difference. When is the time when you find it to be appropriate to use closed questions?
When you're closing.
When you're closing, when you want a definitive answer, when you want to pin someone down. So I want to be I don't want to scare you out of using closed questions. I merely want to make sure you use them at the right point. And there is a time and place to ask yes, no, closed questions. And clearly when you want a decision or a clarification out of a buyer or seller, that's the time to ask a specific closed question. Another way to get people to continue talking and continuing to give you information, instead of just asking a specific question, merely by repeating their last answer, will cause them to elaborate. Now, when you're conscious of it, it sounds really stupid. Somebody says, well, we're looking for a new home. New home? When you watch that from the outside, you go, oh, they're going to catch you on that. And I was actually in a seminar once where a woman said, oh, I think that's too conscious. People will know you're doing that. Think they'd know you're doing that? Oh, yeah, if anybody did that to me, I'd pick up on it right away. Right away? Oh, yeah, I mean, I'd notice that. I'd notice if they were doing to me and I wouldn't like it. So you wouldn't like it? Oh, no, because I think that's really a wrong way to do it. So you think that's the wrong way to question? Oh, yeah. Okay, thanks. And I went right on with my seminar. And the rest of the audience is going, whoa. Yeah, what did you think?
I don't know, the bathroom's downstairs.
Too
it's
small.
just small.
Bathroom's too small?
It wouldn't serve our purpose.
The bedrooms too. I don't know if I really
Bedrooms,
like
they're, for a big house, they're quite small.
Yeah.
I was expecting a lot more from
So the bath and the bedrooms are two. Other than that, how did you feel?
Okay.
It's okay.
You don't sound excited about it. You know what I'm going to recommend?
What?
I'm going to recommend you don't buy this house. So that leads to our next point. You must determine who is ready, willing, and able to buy now. And I want to make this is your most important skill in real estate, in my opinion. is to trying to figure out who is going to buy and who isn't. And most of us are too timid to ask, and we need to ask. My philosophy of selling is not try to get you to buy a house. I want you to buy a house. Can I get you to buy? How about you? Can I get you to buy a house? It's more like, you have any interest at all in buying a home any time in your life in the next, few years? No? Okay. Next, how about you? What about you? Ma'am, are you considering moving at any time in the next year or so? Okay, nice talking to you. And just let go of these people. Which reminds me. You ever heard of a gentleman from India named Deepak Chopra? Probably seen him on TV, read some of his books. And I love his philosophy because it applies to selling. And one of the things that he said, I heard him on PBS one day, and he said, if you want to be successful in your life, what you need to do is place your attention and intention on your goals. But then what you must do is let go of your attachment to the outcome, because it is the attachment to the outcome that prevents you from getting it. You must let go. So in applying that to prospecting, you're dealing with a buyer, say, you folks interested in this home? Well, we like this home. We was wondering if we could come in low. Well, you could come in low, but you would not come into this house. Same with sellers. Well, we'd like to list with you, but we talked to another company to take less commission. We wondered if you'd take less. I do not cut my fee. I do not put myself on sale. If you want to list with me, fine. If not, I let go. Goodbye. How do you like that as a philosophy of selling? Promise you it'll make this business easy. So the key is to be there so many times that you have so many prospects that you don't care which one buys today. You're so busy anyway. You don't want to buy? Fine. See you later. Next. Somebody says, well, we don't know. Oh, you don't call me when you know. Next. And take that kind of a ruthless but nice attitude of disqualifying your prospects. Now, in terms of determining who's the good prospect and who's the bad prospect and distinguishing between them, there are three of what I consider to be the most critical questions that you can ask a buyer. In fact, I'd like you to visualize yourself in an open house and tell me what questions you would ask them. Yes, sir.
Did you see any homes on the way over here that you might be interested in?
Did I see any homes on the way that I might be interested in? Yes. See the problem when you start with the word did? Just go yes or no. Now, would you, and let's say it said yes.
May I show them to you this afternoon?
Already saw them. I know, I'm putting you on the gun. See how difficult it is to ask open questions. It's, the tendency is to do that. Most people ask in an open house questions like, have you seen any other homes you like? What price range were you looking in? What are your needs? What kind of bedrooms are you looking for? Things like that. When I would recommend that there are three questions that you need to ask a buyer when they come to an open house. The number one most important question is, how soon do you need to move? That, to me, is the most important question. How do you feel about that? That's what we want to know, because the definition of a good buyer versus a bad buyer is a good buyer wants to buy now. Bad buyer, well, we don't know yet. Number two, best predictor of future behavior is past behavior. So the question, how long have you been looking? Then the third question, some people have told me this question comes across as a little strong. And they say, well, that's a little bit high pressure. Well, low pressure salespeople have skinny kids. So, in fact, if I give you the first word of the question, do you know the rest of it? If you found a home today that met your needs. And there are two different ways to respond. You could say, what would you do? Or the more sharp answer is, would you buy it? I've had people come to, I don't know if I could ask them that. Well, then maybe you couldn't be a salesperson. Sorry, but if you want to be a good salesperson, how soon are you going to buy? How long have you been looking? And if you found something, they may ask, what would you do? Now, you can ask it nicely, and you'll see in the role plays that I'm leading up to how I do this. But let me just tell you a true story that makes this point. For years, my parents would go to Marco Island, Florida. And for those of you watching this video in Marco Island, maybe you know my mom. Because she and my father would go out looking at real estate. And I remember visiting them one day, and I went up, looked at their dining room table, and it was covered with real estate brochures, 4-color, 2-color, 3-fold, 5-fold, 8.5 by 11, every possible size. And I said, Mom, what in the world are you guys doing? Oh, we've been out looking at real estate. Are you finally going to do it? You're going to sell the house in St. Paul and move tomorrow? Are you finally moving down here for good? And my mom said, I don't think so. Well, then, what's with this? Why are you looking at all this stuff? She said, your father and I love to look. And I said, my gosh, you've only been here 2 weeks. How'd you see this much stuff in 2 weeks? And she says, the real estate agents are showing us around. Mom, do the real estate agents know that you're not moving? And she said, I don't think so. So why haven't you told them? And she said, because they didn't ask. How soon do you want to be in the business? How long? If you found something you wanted to buy, nobody asked. Because I promise you, if even one person turned to my mom and said, you know, Ms. Nagel, let me tell you, how soon do you plan on moving? Oh, you know, we're not in any hurry. What do you mean by that? Well, we were thinking the next 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 years maybe, something like that. I see. How long have you been looking? Charlie, when did David graduate from high school? If you found something today, what would you folks do? Oh, there's nothing we can do. We're just down on vacation where our home's winterized up in St. Paul where it's so cold we have dogs frozen in trees. There's nothing we can really do about it. So please ask those 3 questions. Now let's see if they work in the real world on real people. Watch as we actually, at the front door and on phones, ask those kinds of questions. If this house did work for you, what would you do?
Probably buy it.
How soon are you planning on moving?
Well, there isn't a huge rush. I got a really affordable piece of property right now.
How soon do you plan on moving?
Probably somewhere between 2 and 6 or 8 months.
Why that long range?
Well, I'm a dentist. I'm not established now. I don't know where I'm going to be, so I'm not sure if this is the neighborhood that I need to be in.
If you found a home today that you did like, what would you do? Could you buy it today?
I'm not sure.
Well, what is your present housing situation?
Well, we still haven't sold our house, so we're going to sell that.
Oh, okay.
But it's not in the market. I mean, it's just out there, so.
Yeah, so we need some help probably.
So you probably need some help both selling your home, finding another one?
We could use some of that, yeah.
Okay. How urgent are you to have your home back on the market?
Well, we'd like to get it back out there as soon as possible.
Okay. How would you like another opinion on your property and your marketing efforts?
Well, actually, I'm at a point where I might be receptive to that.
Would you be interested in seeing a marketing plan of what our firm could do to help you sell in perhaps a shorter period of time?
Well, not right now. We think we can get it done.
Okay. How much longer do you plan on attempting it yourself before you might consider a realtor?
I think I might go about 2, 3 weeks, I guess maybe a month.
A month?
A month, sure.
What did you see as a theme throughout all those questions?
Letting go.
Letting go. Good point. My attitude is I don't care if you're buying or selling. I just want to know what you're doing. I'm not here to try to talk you into listing with me, talk you into moving. My goal is, are you? Because if you are, fine. If you're not, fine. I let go. Just let me know. Okay. So buyer questions fall into categories of, have you definitely decided to move? Are you ready to work with an agent? Seller questions, as you'll see in your student materials, there's so many of them. Questions, have you definitely decided to move? Are you, if we agree on a marketing plan, are you definitely ready to list this evening? Are you talking to other real estate agents? Those are the kinds of questions you want to ask early on. And then in terms of rating your buyers and sellers, I would recommend that you do a probability ranking. And in terms of ranking your buyers, number 1 for me is who wants to buy first? Number 2, do they have a home to sell? So if they want to buy in a hurry and they have a home to sell, these are the best buyers you can work with. After that is what they're looking for available. Do you have buyers today that would buy tomorrow and have a home to sell, but what they're looking for is virtually impossible to find? That moves them lower on the ranking. Then we take a look at price range, and obviously if they're friends and referrals, you have to pay special attention. With sellers, same thing, activity in that price range. And your markets change all over the place. Sometimes the high hundreds work, sometimes the mid 500s, sometimes under 100. Rate by urgency and whether or not they have a home to buy. So the key is I want buyers and sellers who are ranked number 1 in my book. And that's who you need to work with. Next. I would say to you, a statement, you see if you agree with this. My statement is that all purchases are done to satisfy an emotion. Do you agree or disagree with that? Okay, is there anyone in here that's bought something non-emotionally? Ma'am, you nod your head, you have. What did you buy non-emotionally, specifically?
Cat litter.
Cat litter. You may have me on that one. How many times do you go into a store and you go over to the cat litter section? By the way, I don't know where that section is. But you pick out a bag of cat litter and you go, oh, kitty litter, this is my day. Get on your cell phone. Honey, guess what I did? I bought cat litter today. Oh, I love days like today. Did you go through that when you bought cat litter? No, probably not. Then why did you buy it?
I have a cat.
Because you have a cat. And why did you buy kitty litter for your cat?
But he doesn't go on the floor.
So he doesn't go on the floor? Mm-hmm. Let me ask you this. Have you ever been in a situation where you were out of kitty litter?
Yes.
What was that like for you?
Hell.
I guess we can say hell on this videotape. Let me just ask you a question. Was that logical or emotional?
It became emotional.
It became emotional, and that is my point. When you take, people buy an emotion. We either move towards pleasure or out of pain. And the purchase of kitty litter is not particularly exciting, but running out of it is. Okay, what about buying tires for your car? Logical or emotional? It's logical when you buy it, but at the moment that you have a flat tire, how does that feel? Pain. So the point I want to lead to here is that all purchases are based on emotion, all of them. But the key is, the time you experience the emotion isn't often at the time you buy necessarily. It could be at the time that you run out. So the purpose of this whole topic today is questioning skills and motivation. So when you meet buyers and sellers, you can ask the questions that lead them back to the pain, to the horror. Or you can talk about selling to the pleasure. As we go through life, we move towards pleasure, away from pain. What leads you pleasure? Oh, the birth of a new child, a new job, buying a Harley and riding it for the first time. Total joy. Buying deodorant, not particularly joyful, but it brings you up to normal. So you can either sell to the attainment of pleasure or the fixing of pain, and all sales will apply to this. How do you get to the emotion of your buyers and sellers? How do you get there? Asking questions clearly is part of it. How else? Listening is part of it.
Placing them in the house.
Placing them in the house is part of it. I will give you a shortcut. What we want to do is probe for their motivation, which means go beyond their reasons. A lot of times we ask a seller, why are you moving? They say, we have been transferred. Is transfer a motivation? Are all of you nodding your head yes, when in fact the answer is no. Transfer is not a motivation, it is a reason for moving. So when you see in your student materials the list of motivations, acceptance, achievement, comfort, convenience, family, the transfer is the behavior. Why you accepted the transfer is the motivation. So when you turn to a seller and say, why are you folks moving? They'll start with logic. We have been transferred. They may not say it like that. And then you'll say, may I ask you folks why you accepted the transfer? And their answer will be more emotional. Or if they give you another reason, say, why are you transferred? We need more money. Why do you need more money? Because of our 2 daughters. Tell me more about that. Well, we're sending them to college and $25,000 a year per daughter. That's a lot of money. We need that. Aha. So the real motivation is family and love for children. Transfer is just a means to get there. Whenever someone tells you what they want to buy, you need to find out why. And the question is why. Larry King has been called the wise guy because of his ability to do that. So too many salespeople focus on features. And instead, if they say we need 3 bedrooms, go back and ask them why they want 3 bedrooms. So you find out that their love of friends and social, is that more important than 3 bedrooms? And that's what makes you a good salesperson, is the ability to cross from that feature into their motivation. You mentioned the kitchen. Why is that important to you?
Most of the time I cook.
Oh, you do?
Yep, I do.
What do you cook?
So, everything.
Well, tell me more about the job you're going to. Why you decided to take that?
Well, we looked at the options that were available.
Talk to me more. You say more space for the kids. How would you be using that? What?
Well, we think maybe, I'm looking, of course, more for the bigger bedrooms so they can have their own TV and their own stereo and, you know.
What are some other things that you hope to accomplish in this move? Anything else that I should know about that you're trying to accomplish? How soon do you plan on moving?
Probably somewhere between 2 and 6 or 8 months.
Why that long range? Well, I guess that's why I'm always curious. When I see somebody in a beautiful home like this for 11 years and all of a sudden pack up and move, why would someone do that? And
that's what Michael said. Why are you doing this, Dad?
So what is your primary reason for moving at this time?
Well, mainly the kids. I think they need more space.
So tell me, what will you be doing in Seattle? What's causing the move?
What's causing the move? Merger mania.
Okay. Again, did you see the seed in those questions of after every answer I would say, how would you be using it? By the way, using the word why every time could be grating, couldn't it? Well, why? Well, why? Why is that? So then you need to be creative. How would you be using that feature? Tell me more about that. Sometimes just a pause, they'll elaborate as to why. But your mission is to find out why. So in this section, what we learned was that Prospecting is the key to this whole business. You have got to be there. You've got to show up and be in front of enough people enough times so then you can ask the right questions to get the right answers, and the right answers determine whether or not these people want to move. Your mission now is to disqualify the people who aren't going to buy. You need to treat buyers the way buyers treat ads, right? They call up on an ad they have circled. And what are they trying to do? They want to cross it off. Tell me a little bit about that house. Nope, don't want that, and they cross it off. You're doing the same thing to buyers. You listen to a buyer and say, tell me a little bit about your situation. How soon do you need to move? Well, not for a little. Next, okay, tell me a little about your situation. Well, how soon do you need to move? Well, gosh, we got to get settled this week. Oh, okay, you're still in the running. Tell me more. How long have you been looking? We just started. Okay, if you found something today, what would you do? Gosh, we'd buy it. Then you and I need to talk. And that is your mission with prospects. Once you meet them, you need to probe for their motivation, get beneath the logic, into the emotion, into literally the heart of the issue that's driving it. And once you have done that, you're in a position to do everything else. And all the questioning skills and all the motivation skills we have just gone through will be the basis for every single situation, as you'll see, in dealing with buyers and sellers, whether they be prospecting, buyer situations, or seller situation. So in the next video, we'll be talking about specifically telephone technique and how to apply it. So this concludes our first session.